Hi, this is Shane with the EWWW Image Optimizer, and today I want to show you something that we've improved and revamped for release 8.6, and that is a setting that formerly was on the resize tab called resize detection, which has now been moved to the essentials and is named image detective. So it still helps to highlight image scaling issues, that is, if the image natural dimensions are too big for the page, but it also helps identify LCP elements, largest contentful paint elements, that is, as well as integrating with lazy load. So I'll show you how it works. We turn that on and we'll save our changes, and we'll go over to our home page. And this is just using one of the default themes, the 2024 theme, with kind of a stock layout. And we can now see a few new things here. First of all, we have this menu up here where we can check again in case any images have been loaded dynamically via JavaScript. We can clear all the markings in case it's getting in our way. We can clear the settings for the current page or for all pages, and we'll get into what that involves here in a minute. And then down here we can see that it has tagged our LCP image, that is the largest element on the page that has been painted or rendered. So that's our LCP element right here, and we can also see that it has been forced to the wrong size. The physical dimensions are 1500 by 703, and it should be 1280. So let's continue on. We'll show you some ways to fix that here in a minute, but down here we have some other smaller images, but they are also improperly scaled. And then if we keep going, we have some smaller medium thumbnail type images for a listing of blog posts. What can we do about that? Well, fortunately, we have a couple things. The first thing I usually do is see if lazy load with auto scaling will fix it. So we turn those on and reload the page, and unfortunately not. But that also shows us something else here, which is that we can add lazy load exclusions. And that also we will come to in a minute. Let's check our other images to see if they are any better, and no, they are not. And still no good. So why not? So the issue with this particular image, which I've already looked at before, is that it's just using a stock image that came with the theme, and so it's not been uploaded to the media library. There's no other sizes available. It's just got the full size original, which is that 1500 pixel image. So if we would replace this with an image from our media library, that would help. And the same is true for these guys down here. If we right click on these, we can see that they have an image source attribute right here, source equals, but no source set. And the source set is what is needed to have responsive images. And if we go down to these do use responsive, but they're still not right. But they are loading better than the 1140 that they were using. This one is completely fixed, but some of these still aren't. So one of the reasons some of these don't load correctly is aspect ratio. So if their aspect ratio isn't quite right, and let's see if it tells us. These should have a 4:3 according to this. These images are not 4:3, unfortunately. They look more like a 3:2, and so that causes the autoscaler to load a slightly wider image in order to not have a blurry upscaled image. So there is a fix for that also, and we'll get to that. But first we have one more trick up our sleeves. Let's try that out, and that's our EasyIO CDN. And this allows the lazy loader to request a specific sized image. And this helps especially with non-responsive images, but it can help with the others as well. And you can see now that our LCP is properly scaled because it has a lovely blue border around it instead of the nasty red. And these also are now fixed because the lazy loader was able to tell the CDN, hey, I want this exact size image, and it gave it to it. What about our thumbnails? We've still got some issues here, and again, those have to do with aspect ratios. They're a lot closer. This was 768, and now it's down to 450. That's as close as it could get it with the pre-built sizes and the ones that are added in by EasyIO, and I'll show you that because it doesn't just use the pre-built. It'll try to fill in if there's any gaps or whatever. And so we had a 150, we had a 300, and then it added, if I get my mouse out of the way, it added a 450, and that's the closest we got. So 450 was as close as we could get it. And so we can either say, well, that's good enough, I don't want to mess with it anymore, and we could hit ignore here and say, don't bother me about that image anymore, I'm good with that, fine and dandy. Or we can go ahead and try and fix one of those images. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would look like. Let's open this post in a new tab, and we're going to edit this. And you can see the LCP on here is being helped out by EasyIO. And if we go over to here, I'm not actually going to replace it. I want to edit this image because it is not the right aspect ratio. It's almost more of a 2:1, but let's see if we can get a 4:3. Okay, so then if we expand it up and down, there may be an easier way of doing this, but bear with me for a minute. And we can apply that crop and save our edits. View the post. And of course that was already fine. Let's see if this is any better. Go back to the top, refresh. And now it is fixed because it is the correct aspect ratio. So we talked about these exclusions over here. So for LCP images, it's not the best to lazy load those. It's nice to be able to load those as fast as possible without lazy loading. And so we can click on this and we have a couple different options. We can either exclude this image everywhere or just on this page. Now if we're using it somewhere else, we might only want to do it on this page. We can also get options to add an exclusion by class. And so one of these might work for our featured images. Probably any of them would, but we'll just, for kicks, exclude the attachment post. And once we've added that exclusion, then of course, as it says, we want to refresh the page to confirm there are no scaling issues. We kind of already know the answer to that, which is that there will be. And this particular theme is displaying the featured image at completely the wrong size. It's using the full size original pretty much, and that's no good. Let's check our home page. If we were to add, say, this guy as an exclusion, refresh that. And like I said, we kind of already know because we knew before auto scaling that it was not correct. And so that's what happens. So what can we do about that? Two things. We can change our theme. That's not always the greatest option, or we can adjust our theme if that's possible, to have a developer or someone, or if you are the developer, to adjust that and create the source set markup so that it actually displays the correct image on desktop. On our site at EWWW.io, I had to adjust that and customize the source set so that it would in fact display the correct images for all device sizes like we want it to, and that worked pretty well. So again, if you have the time, the experience, or the money to have a developer fix that, fantastic. If not, EasyIO is your best friend and will help you fix your LCP images so that they display at the correct size. To fix some images, we may be able to edit our template or the page or post settings for the image itself. Before we get into that, I wanted to circle back to clearing these settings. So if we've added page-specific exclusions, those can be cleared by this clear settings for current page, or again all pages. And likewise, if we told it to ignore a particular image because it's like, yeah, it's close enough, we can reset those by clearing the settings for the current page. But like I said, one last thing we can do is to edit the image settings in the template or page or whatever. We talked about these images down here having some issues, and part of that could be if those are set to use the wrong size, whether we added it via template like this or if we added it directly into a post or a page. We can click on the image and look over here and see that it's choosing the large version of the image, which is way too big for such a space. So we can change that to medium and see if that will help with our scaling issues. Yeah, so that's all I have for you today. Hope that helps you make your sites faster. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for how Image Detective can help, we've got a few of our own that we're going to be working on. But if you've got ideas for what it can do to help you, let us know. Drop a comment down below or shoot us an email. As always, happy optimizing.